check out our whole video, hit the link on the bottom of the screen. That video is available exclusively on odds.com. Let's move on to Tennessee Titans at Indianapolis Colts. This is now, because of the COVID issues hanging over the Ravens-Steelers game, looks like will be the game of the week. Titans 7-3, 3-1 on the road at the Colts, 7-3, 4-1 at home. And the Colts, I want to back. Colts opened up as 4-point favorites. That's now 3.5. Not only that, but if you want them at 3.5, you're going to get plus money beside it. Plus 100 at the worst of times. Tennessee coming off an impressive 30-24 overtime win at Baltimore. And the way I see it, Baltimore is bad with the injuries that they're struggling with. And bad's too harsh. But the fact that they're so vulnerable up the gut changes so much from this Ravens team that we know so well. The Titans scored at least 30 points for the first time since October 18th. They outgained Baltimore 423 to 306. Tannehill went 22-31 for 259 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Derrick Henry rushed 28 times for 133 yards and the game-winning 29-yard overtime touchdown. Corey Davis and Brown were shut out in the first half. That's questionable. Now, Davis caught 5 passes and 113 yards in the second half and looked very good. Brown caught 4 or 5 passes for 62 yards in the second half as well. 14-yard TD reception. And he broke 4 tackles to do it. It was unbelievable. The defense struggled again. I see this as a vulnerable Titans team. 9 of 15. The Ravens went 9 of 15 on third down. Now, the Titans' red zone defense was strong. So they held the Baltimore to 3 field goals on 4 trips inside the 20. So let's talk about exactly why I want to fade the Titans. And it starts with Jaylen Brown. Leading tackler. I don't know if you saw the elbow injury, but it was ugly. Dislocated, fractured elbow, done for the season. Left tackle, Ty Sambrailo, who replaced Taylor Lewin, left in the fourth quarter, and he's hurt. Roger Saffold, the left guard, missed the game with an injured ankle. He's still questionable to play. Jadeveon Clowney, even though he can't be trusted, he's on injured reserve. Adam Humphries, wide receiver. Cornerback Adoree Jackson. Safety Kenny Vaccaro. Defensive tackle Larry Murchison. Tight end McCole Pruitt are all listed as questionable. I see this as a vulnerable Titans team. Let's not get into the Colts. I've been talking for too long, but I want to fade this Titans team, Bebsie. What are you thinking here?
I mean, I'm kind of with you on this too. There is question marks about Rivers and if he's going to play or not. Look, Rivers, we all know he can't throw the ball very well anymore, but what he does well and what he did well in winning that Packers game was just make the smart play, make easy throws. But I don't know if Brissett plays, is that worse? Like, are they that much worse off? Is Brissett good enough now, or has he learned enough now, or is the team around him good enough now that it doesn't matter as much? I agree with you. I see a very vulnerable Titans team. The fact that they got smacked by the Colts earlier this year is difficult. You know, you feel like they're playing for a sense of pride, but I'm with you. I don't know if the Ravens win, if we could put a ton of value in that. The Ravens are banged up in the most vulnerable spot playing a team like the Titans. When you lose Calais Campbell, now you're giving all that, that middle of the line to Henry to smash. I don't think Henry can smash against this Colts defense if Buckner and Leonard, if Leonard's healthy, which he is, he's playing. You got DeForest Buckner, who is just a space-eating monster, and then you got Darius Leonard, who's all over the field. This screams Colts, with or without the Rivers injury, which I do think is a factor. I don't know how much of a factor, but I mean, this is – I'm with you. I feel like it's fade Tennessee right now.
I really do. I really think it's fade Tennessee right now, and I do not think Now, when you're talking about 39-year-old quarterback, the toe injury for me, I don't know if I was just so bullish on the Colts when I was studying this, and I wasn't so bullish that I didn't already bet it. We saw the market moving towards the Titans, but I didn't even add it into my notes, the toe injury. I think he plays. Colton's coming off the impressive 34-31 overtime home win over the Packers. After being down 28-14 at the half, they held the Packers to 3 points the rest of the way. Over the final 33 minutes, they forced 3 fumbles and an interception. They held Aaron Jones to 41 yards on 10 carries. They limited Green Bay to 18 offensive snaps over the final 2+ quarters. Rivers was 24-36, 288 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 interception, and he's having fun. Jonathan Taylor ran 22 times for 90 yards. Michael Pittman Jr. caught 3 passes for 66 yards. You know what else is fun? When rookies are leading the way on the ground and through the air. That's just fun with a 39-year-old quarterback who's got 9 kids and doesn't want to go home. Right tackle Braden Smith and Danico Autry were on the COVID list. They could easily come back. Cornerback Isaiah Rodgers' list is questionable. This is a very healthy squad. I think this is to get the so I love the way the whale capper sells points, never buys them. So I looked at +4. I'm only getting 10 cents, +110. But +3.5 and +100, that's talking my language, man. I really feel like Muhammad says Colts are a very good team. They got lucky, very lucky last week. I agree with that. Dutch Boy Fresh joining us, our guy Dutchy. Great to see you. St. Lawrence says Old Man Rivers did not look so old last week. Like Bebsie said, he did the right thing consistently. I expect more of that.
Well, that's the thing is I think Rivers is at least accepted his limitations and is not trying to do too much with the ball now, which, the week 1, he came out thinking, man, I'm Phillip Rivers. I've had a great career. I'm going to light up this Jags team. And he cost them that game. But I think they've compartmentalized what he needs to do, which is just don't give the ball away. Get your running game going, which, they have a solid 1-2 punch right now with Taylor and Hines. Imagine if they still have Mac too, but Mike Pittman Jr. is balling out for them right now. He's playing great. I really like the way the Colts have looked. I was high on Green Bay last game, and look, the Colts, not only did they come back and win that game, but they had like 17 straight holding calls late in that game, and they still got it done.
I like David Sharp's thinking. I'm very nervous being on the other side of Alvin Smith a lot on this card. I like his thinking on the Colts team total. What do you think about this defense for the Titans? Do you trust them? And now that they've lost their leading tackler, who's done for the season, that's a huge, huge loss. It's not a well-known name, so he's not being talked about enough. But Jay Brown, that's going to hurt them. Don't you think that's I don't know, maybe devastating is too much, but that's a huge loss, right, Bebsie?
Well, anytime you lose your leading tackler, sure. Yeah, that's a big loss. I did see, Desmond King made a few impact plays last week. And again, I thought they got him for a song, which helps their secondary. But, again, they're, losing your leading tackler, question marks on the O-line with injuries. Saffold is huge. I brought this up last week. He's so important. Again, they were banged up on their line, and the Ravens were banged up on their line. So it still allowed it, but it took Derrick Henry a long time to get going in that game, as it often does. But I don't know. This just feels like the Colts are the better football team, top to bottom. They're healthier. I don't see how Tennessee's defense stops the Colts, and I do see how the Colts defense stops Tennessee.
Now, the Colts are a tricky squad. When you expect them to step up, they fall flat, and then they get their shit together. They haven't been a good squad to double up on first half full game. And I'm going to do just that, though. I'm going to double up on the Colts. Going to get first half -2.5. Going to get that -3.5 at plus money. And I'm going to stay away from the Colts team total, but I'll keep an eye on it. The full game total here is at 51, so it's gone up from that 49.5. I wonder how high it gets. Alceric says, go watch the breakdown of Tennessee wearing down the Ravens over 4 quarters. I just see this Ravens.
But that's not like that's been their game plan all year. You know, I really like Brian Baldinger's breakdowns. I think he's way better at that than anything else he's done booth-wise in football. But that's been their game plan all year long, has been wear the other teams down, and then Henry takes over in the fourth quarter or second half if it comes earlier. But yeah, as the Czar's saying, Ravens are missing Calais Campbell. That's how you beat them up and tear them down. And look, the other again, Darius Leonard healthy, looking good.
There's a role that Phillip Rivers is in, and this toe injury is not going to stop him.
No, it's not like he's running the ball much anyways, but.
So I hear what you're saying, C-Mac. You are a wise man. You are a sage. But I'm making moves here. I want that plus beside the 3.5, and I really think Phillip plays. Okay, let's move on. Bebsie, nothing for you. We can circle back. We're going to circle back on the Washington Football Club.
Yeah.
And moving on the Colts.
The only reason, my only apprehension is if I can get a 3.
Yeah. Well, you could pay for a 3, which I don't think is a good move. The 3, paying for the 3 is -125. But I like that plus line beside the -3.5.
Yeah.
Well, we can circle back.
Let's circle back.